You're currently leading the field in strokes gained around the green.
Nice.
That must feel good. With how much you've been working on your chipping, how satisfying is that right now to seeing it paying off?
It's really nice. But you know what? It's a little frustrating just not hitting more greens. And, you know, coming into the week, the ball striking still felt fine. Even after last week, I knew it was going to be a small little fix and just haven't found it. And if I'm going to want to make it a little more stress-free and just a little more enjoyable, you know, fairways are going to be really key, especially how firm these greens are getting. And, you know, just when you have just a tad bit of downwind when you're in the rough, it's just hard to judge whether it's going to kind of come out spinny or come out, you know, a little jumpy.
Was it 2 chip-ins in 3 holes, or was one a putt?
It was, 2 and 3 holes, but one was a chip, one was a putt. So one was, the one on 3 was a lot better than the one on 5. And now the 5 was the putt.
Yeah, you mentioned 5. You were kind of debating between taking a chip or putting. Can you tell us a little bit more about that moment and then obviously knocking it in?
Yeah, I mean, I could describe that shot pretty easily. I mean, you just open up a little 60, toe it down, land it in the upslope, check up and roll. And the lie wasn't as good as I wanted, and kind of got comfortable with, you know, convincing myself. And sometimes that's the problem with golf, is that you convince yourself that, like, oh man, you know, I know I can do this shot, but in reality, like, what's the percentage play? I mean, it was a terrible putt. I mean, it went in, but it probably would have went to 8, 10 feet. But in my head, you know, the worst putt I would have hit was 5 feet. And, you know, with a great chip shot, it might have looked a lot better, but like I said, you play the percentage plays and kind of just go from there.
Thank you.
Colin, do you find this golf course plays, even though it wasn't a lot of wind, but do you feel like this kind of non-prevailing wind, does it play harder with that or with the prevailing?
You know, I think just with the wind we've seen since Wednesday, I mean, Wednesday really dried out the greens, right? And it's been firmer. You've seen bounces that you normally don't get. And that's kind of, I think, made the course really tough. And granted, this course is, I think, one of the best courses we have on tour because it just tests every aspect. I mean, you got to play really good golf out here, and you could see that from the scores. But when you have a wind that kind of switches and it helps on a few holes. I mean, this morning, you know, it's great to play 12, 13 straight downwind. I mean, it makes a huge difference. You know, Jordan and I were joking. I think we hit pitching wedge into 12 today in the morning, and we hit 6-iron yesterday. So it just shows you when you have a certain wind, it really changes the hole when the fairways are rolling.
How much were you kind of jonesing to get back here after last year's, you know, close call at a place you kind of
Yeah, you know, last year I felt like I was really never in it. You know, I had a really good final round, and, you know, we made a decent run right at the last few holes, but I had to do a lot of things to be right, just to be able to be in contention. And this is a course I've felt like I've always loved. I've had some pretty good rounds out here, and like I said, always it's just putting together 4 good ones.
You're pretty frustrated at the end of 2022. This is probably more what you're accustomed to seeing. What's different?
A lot. I mean, just swing, the kind of the work I've been putting behind the scenes. Just, you know, a different attitude, just really going out and enjoying it, you know, trying to get back to that, you know, first summer when we came out here, just eyes wide open, just enjoying every single moment and take what you take, and whatever happens, happens. And that's been a big thing this year. And obviously we got off to a good start last week. You just brush it off and move on, and here we are.
How do you tell yourself to have that attitude? Like, how do you physically do it?
I think you really look at it in a big perspective. I mean, you know, for me, the goals I set, it was a tough year because I didn't really hit any of them. You know, we made the Tour Championship, and that's still a very solid year, but other than that, we really didn't do much. And I think you just take a step back and look at really just, you know, it's a new season, it's a new year, and even through the fall, it was a tough stretch. But I think, you know, after getting married, after going on the honeymoon, spending Christmas with the family, is just kind of stepped away from the game for a little bit and really just got a fresh start. And obviously it's nice to kind of start in the right direction.
As a SoCal kid, what's your history of coming to this event when you were growing up?
Never.
Really?
Yeah, just never made my way out here. And to be honest, I really didn't watch much golf growing up. I mean, you'd watch Tiger and you'd watch final rounds, but that's about it. You know, yeah.
Player in college?
What's up?
Did you ever play here in college? Or just...
I didn't step foot here until the USAM. I had a few rounds earlier the year because we knew the USAM was coming here, but until then, no.
The folks at Swing Catalyst showed in a presentation that you visited them, curious about adding distance. Is that one of the changes you're working on, or did you abandon that
Who?
quest? Swing Catalyst. They showed a video of you. They had you on force plates working on.
Oh yeah, forgot about that.
Are you working on adding distance, or is that not something?
No,
you're
no.
interested
I was just curious, like how my kind of weight shifted and all that stuff, and is there a way to gain distance? I mean, there always is.
in? Yeah.
But to be honest, it wasn't. It was just to have.
Yeah.
I was swinging it well at that time. It was just to kind of see, and I think that's the biggest thing is like if you can, get your statistics while you're swinging well and while you're playing well. It's always nice to have just in case. Hey, maybe this little thing here or there. I mean, but there's obviously a lot of variables with golf.
So you're not going to become a bomber?
No, I wish. Still freaking hitting it, 169, 170 out there.
You mentioned watching Tiger growing up as one of the few golfers you watched. What is it like sharing the course with him this week and having him kind of close to you in tee times?
I mean, I've been able to play with him before, so at this point, it's just nice to see him back. It's nice to see him playing golf, and to be honest, I'm a little shocked there weren't more people out there. It was a little surprising that more people didn't show up to come. Especially yesterday. Middle of the day tee time, and but it's always good to play. It's his tournament. He represents the game better than anyone else can, and he's the guy that everyone looks up to. Right? We're always listening when he's talking. So it's really good to see him. It looks like he's doing a lot better. Obviously, his golf game still, it's rusty, I think is the right word, but he still has it in him. I know that for sure. All right. Thanks, guys.